Well, joining me now to discuss this is Jacqueline Burns, who is a former advisor to the US Special Envoy for Sudan and South Sudan. She is based in Irvine. So, critical hours and days ahead now. How fragile is this situation?
It's incredibly fragile. As was reported, we're hearing reports that the cessation of hostilities is not being completely abided by, increased reports of fighting as night fell in Khartoum, and the civilian situation is deteriorating incredibly quickly. I unfortunately don't share, I don't have a lot of optimism that this current cessation of hostilities is going to be extended long term. I think a lot more work needs to be done.
We understand the US President's national security team is in talks with the military groups on the ground. What will their strategy be now in talking to them?
I mean, clearly the immediate strategy is to just get them to stop fighting, to lay down their weapons for the time being so we can find a way forward out of this mess. But I think one of the biggest things that people are trying to think through now is where do we go from this? These processes have focused largely on accommodation of these military leaders and their demands, and it has been entrenching the conflict dynamics. There needs to be a new shift, a new paradigm to think about how we get to a peaceful transition in Sudan. But first, they need to get the fighting to stop to create space for that to happen.
Indeed, and a lot of countries have an interest in this area in terms of what happens regionally. Could it be that it gets too complicated with so many countries trying to have an involvement, try and have a role in all of this?
I do think that there needs to be a coordinated effort. We have had that problem in Sudan and in other peace processes. You have a lot of actors, everyone's interested, but if you're pushing on different levers at different times, they can contradict each other and cause problems. There does need to be one unified, focused effort under one leadership with everyone supporting it if we do want to have change. We also know other regional actors have been supporting one or the other of these actors in other ways, which is incredibly problematic.
And we know many foreign nationals are trying to leave the country. Do we know if vital supplies are making it in for those who are not able to flee?
It does not sound like many supplies are entering the country at all right now. And as long as the ceasefire does not hold, as long as there's continued conflict, it's going to be really hard for aid agencies to get supplies into the country. They're running incredibly low on food and fuel stocks, and it's getting to be a very perilous situation for civilians on the ground who can't leave.
Okay, Jacqueline Burns, former advisor to the US Special Envoy for Sudan and South Sudan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.